Something that's popped up recently in my world is a lot of sports hernias. When we define sports hernias, typically we don't necessarily mean that it's like that classic abdominal hole wall that your grandpa had, right? But a strain of sort of abdominal fascia, a tear of abdominal fascia, of how the musculature and connective tissues are attaching to that inguinal ligament. So what we end up happening is people do a lot of abs and they're stiff and they're like, sick, my abs are sore, and they never do anything for them. So those tissues actually become stiff. Believe it or not, you should get on your stomach and roll out your obliques and roll out your rectus abdominis once in a while. You know that the abs have a narrow range of motion where they're the most effective. So if I'm missing hip extension, one of the things that happens is that I potentially drag my pelvis into this anterior tilt, and that loads predominantly this abdominal fascia into positions where I don't have muscular control. I'm now hanging on my soft tissue, hanging on the meat. Add in the fact that people oftentimes are missing the rotational aspect of the hip, so that when they actually go to transfer energy, there is a lot of windup of those abdominal tissues. And what ends up happening eventually, you may have some abruption. So what do? We work on hip extension, we work on intra-rotation of that hip and flexion. We go after sort of making sure that those tissues are soft and supple, and we treat them just like the rest. Keep in mind that those things don't guarantee you sort of passing from this, but the improved trunk function with less load on those abdominal tissues is what the doctor ordered.